Drew, welcome to the show, man. How's it going today?
Great, Brad. How are you doing today? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming on. It's going all right. So tell us a little bit about your journey as a financial planner and what inspired you to combine your passion for finance with hip hop. How does that work?
Yeah, I'll try to blend it all together. I was a drummer before I had to grow up and get a real job. And so go back to like sixth grade, somebody threw some drumsticks in my hand, a hyperactive young boy, and I sat down and it just made sense. So that was my start of my musical journey, all the way through high school and then through college. Got out of college, time to grow up and get a real job. I'd done an internship at Merrill Lynch during the dot-com bubble. So I might be showing my age a little bit, but I was there every single day working underneath this strong woman who had the corner office, and we were communicating to her clients every week, like what is going on while the market's going down. And that's the thing about my business is no one really cares when it's going up. When it goes down, you can't give enough reasons or explanations why they should be more patient with it. So, much like real estate, it's a long-term game. And so, over the course of 20 plus years now, I've been growing my own book of business, working with a lot of first responders, and getting 20 years in. I've seen a thing or two, lived through some the great financial crisis and COVID and the most recent bear market that was in 2022. Um, and I found in my industry, no one's helping people that are just getting started out, like enough. And watching 2021, where you had the GameStop gambling going on, I sat here after 20 years and thought, how can I combine my first passion of music with finance and put them together? So something that's very, very public and that we all generally share together with something that is private, that's it's personal finance, right? And so I thought about every genre of music that I'm into, whether it's the blues or jazz or hip hop or rock or any, and one particular genre, hip hop, is littered with a bunch of not successful stories, but then there's a few people that have figured it out over time and built some really big mega empires. And so the idea is that it's easy come, easy go, but do the opposite of that. Learn from these lessons in the past from these people that you know, like MC Hammer or 50 Cent, Kanye even, and don't repeat those mistakes. So learn about it and then go do the things that Jay-Z might have been able to do, or Dre when he discovered beats and developed that. And then, how to compound your money long term. And so that's the idea of putting both things together in the book, is that we're learning from these big celebrity rappers that you've heard about. And this is the money behind the music and what was really going on when you heard In the Club by 50 Cent back in the day, and what financial decisions he made that were good or bad, and what can you learn from it to help yourself out long term, taking the ambition and like the attitude of hip hop to your everyday life to get ahead. If you have an investment portfolio, it's in a bunch of different sectors between large cap, mid cap, small cap stocks, maybe a little bit of international, but that's just one piece. Having your own home at home, that's also an investment as well. If you pay it off, your net worth goes up. But as you rightly said, there's efficient and inefficient. And in my world, we're in a market where if you want your cash back, you can sell it on the open market. It's fairly efficient that way. There's a price that's offered. You can pull it back. Different though between different types of accounts. Where in real estate, it is a very long-term play. If you're trying to flip something that's less than a year, you're taxed differently on that. Whether on if you're making a long-term investment, you're putting your capital in, you have to leave it sit there for a while to work for you. But that's as long as you know the understanding the differences between them. I'm never telling clients not to do something like that. They should be diversifying everything that they've got. I think for everybody, you spend a lot of time working to get somewhere, and then you get there, and then is it ever enough? And we kind of live in a culture where more and more and more. My wife is from Germany, and so there's a difference in how their minds are wired versus Americans, where they would say that they work so they can live. And I think a lot of times here in the U.S. we're living to work, and we need more and more and more. Hey, I'm a financial planner. I know what my number is that I would like to be comfortable and when I would like to retire by. And right now, I think that just having one rental property is fine. And we're able to use it for multi-purposes. And I don't know that we're looking for more, but if the opportunity comes up, I think one thing I'd be looking at is getting a business for my building. I'm currently sitting in a rental office, and it's a great location down the street from where I live. So my commute, I was able to purchase by renting this, purchase some time, right? Time back in my life, which is all going into that balance. And so I don't ever want to get spread too thin, where I don't have enough time to enjoy my family because my daughters are only young one time. And I'm trying to not overwork myself and keep my health in line as well. So my last endeavor here was writing a book, and getting that out is something to give back. But going into a larger one, make sure you know your cash flow, make sure you know what the rates are and what the payments are before you get into it. Most people I've worked with they're working with a team. And so if they don't know an answer or trying to find it, they will reach out to somebody like me, but also parlay our information off of a CPA. And then any kind of legality questions, making sure that you have an attorney as well to bring in on. I think it's also really important to note that when you're talking about teammates, if you're coming into a pooled investment, and so it's not just you or your spouse coming in and making the investment, one of the best things I've ever heard is before you get married, make sure you can get divorced. You need to know the rules of engagement. If somebody wants to retire out or cash out of that investment with you, how do you do that? What's your template for all these things ahead of time? Myself and my business, I have a buy-sell with another advisor buddy of mine that came up together. And so it's very spelled out, like not only if you retire or what if you die, what if there's a disability where you can't do your job anymore? These are big, big things, and there's insurances that you can get to protect yourself. And so it's really good to take a 360 approach and build a team and really think through all these. And so I'm happy to sit here and say anybody that I've known personally through clients and whatnot, that they've done okay on all their investments. All that being said, when rates came up, it's really slowed down a lot. So I think everybody's waiting for lower rates to help out. The idea of the book is to make personal finance more accessible for most people. And it's not like a deep dive on how to do these things, but it's just to crack the door open, learn about, in the US, we seem to be a little bit celebrity obsessed. And so maybe I can use that desire to be celebrity obsessed to go read about these, learn from the mistakes of the past, crack the door open to people that are just getting started, right? Or anybody that's starting a little bit later, and have an aha moment like, oh, I can do that too. And then relate it to yourself. For me, I'd like to go around and talk a little bit more about this, but I'm trying to get out there to help my clients' children or people that are inheriting money right now. That's another big, you can have a lot of money that falls in your lap from a rich uncle or something like this. And I've seen it go bye-bye in about 1 or 2 years, no different than lottery winners. So I'm hoping with the book, you read it, look at the graphs, it's all in color, read the stories, and put it into place for how you feel and what you think you can get out of life.